Please be advised this podcast features AI cloned voices created with human oversight. All content is reviewed by experts for accuracy and relevance. Welcome back to the IADS Retail Park if you're a returning listener. And if this is your first time, a very warm welcome. I'm Maya and I'm joined by Anshita. Today's episode might be one of our most important. We're unpacking how department stores are racing to accelerate sustainability post-pandemic.
You got it, Maya. In this episode, we'll pull back the curtain on how department stores worldwide have turbocharged their sustainability and corporate social responsibility, or CSR strategies, in just over a year after COVID. Drawing from exclusive IADS research, we'll look at what's changed, what's working, and the hard lessons every retailer needs to hear.
Let's set the scene. Before the pandemic, sustainability often felt like an add-on. So as you just said, what changed and how fast did those changes come?
Oh, 100%. Before COVID-19, only a handful of retailers treated sustainability as essential. But with the pandemic forcing everyone home, consumers started thinking more deeply about environmental impact and ethical sourcing. That pressure ramped up expectations for retailers. Suddenly, sustainability wasn't just a nice to have, but business critical.
That resonates. The IADS pre-pandemic 2020 survey showed members like Breuninger, El Corte Inglés, Manor, Sogo, and the SM store were just beginning to formalize their approaches. Communication was basic: in-store tags, internal websites, a few social campaigns. Fast forward 15 months and the game changed dramatically.
For sure, three big organizational shifts stand out. First, expanding internal teams. Breuninger and Manor boosted their CSR staff, adding new headcount even in buying. Second, doubling down on cross-functional committees. The S&M store, for instance, launched a top-level sustainability steering committee. And third, calling in outside experts, Beko, for example, hired a consultancy to help them kickstart their journey.
Those are all great points. It's clear sustainability now impacts every layer, from C-suite to store floor. Now let's switch over and talk about communication. Sustainability is a delicate message. What have retailers learned about sharing progress without risking greenwashing?
You nailed it, Maya. It's a balancing act. The July 2021 IAD's follow-up found members taking three approaches to honest, impactful communication. Number one, hard facts. Sogo only shares stats they can verify with clear certifications. Manor sticks to fact-based claims, nothing ambiguous. Two, cooperation. The S&M store partners closely with suppliers so their messaging is seamless and consistent wherever customers encounter it. And finally, authenticity. Magasin du Nord goes for brutal honesty, open about progress and setbacks alike, believing transparency builds lasting trust.
That's a clever observation. It goes beyond what you say. It's about matching tone and transparency across every channel. Are there standout program examples?
Yes, there are many examples, Maya, but here are just a few to give you an idea. Breuninger replaced plastic with reusable bags, set new guidelines for responsible sourcing, and rolled out digital receipts to reduce waste. Magasin du Nord focused on boosting sustainable materials in their own brands, adopted stronger packaging, and partnered with Time's Up Vintage for second-hand fashion. Manor ended free bags, started hanger recycling, and teamed up nationally with Too Good To Go to fight food waste. Sogo digitized both marketing and rewards, composted food waste, and orchestrated community initiatives like mask donations.
And others, like El Corte Inglés, have cut electricity use by 25% in 5 years, thanks to green logistics partnerships and renewable energy. Galerie Lafayette launched Restore, which we mentioned in our previous episode on their reinvention. Restore is a space for circular fashion, while Falabella is powering over 240 stores with 100% renewable energy. These are not just gestures, they're deep operational changes.
Yes, precisely, Maya. But the research indicated that this gap was narrowing. What's particularly interesting is how this has influenced major retailers. For example, Zalando partnered with the Sustainable Apparel Coalition and HIC Company to make sustainability assessment mandatory for brands selling on their platform.
But it's not all smooth sailing. The IADS research captured some real challenges. What are the big pain points?
Great question, Maya. Uh, let's get into it. Here's what members told us. Starting with label overload, Roninja flagged the confusion of too many competing eco labels and the complexity of green logistics. Next, resource strain, Mana and Magasin du Nord both struggled with the resources needed to properly label, display, and promote sustainable products. Then, when it came to goal setting and awareness, Sogo faced hurdles in setting midterm ESG targets and in raising staff knowledge. And obviously, the whole pandemic disruption, for example, the S&M store highlighted how COVID itself disrupted their rollout plans.
That checks out. So, how are they overcoming these hurdles?
With a smart blend of internal power and external partnerships. For example, specialist partners, Mana's use of Too Good To Go, and Magasin du Nord's partnership with Times Up Vintage bring in needed expertise, or maybe with digital innovation. Mobile apps now replace paper receipts and vouchers, streamlining progress and reporting. And through organizational shifts, most are investing in more staff and cross functional coordination. And when that's not enough, they call in external consultants, like Bego did.
You've articulated that perfectly. Retailers are learning there's no single playbook, just a shared need for commitment, collaboration, and transparency. So, Anchita, what's the actionable takeaway for anyone in retail leadership?
Without a doubt, sustainability is now mission critical. But launching projects isn't enough. You need company wide buy in, fact based communication, and a willingness to invest in teams, training, and measurement. As Magasin du Nord put it, sustainable options do not highlight themselves. It takes real, sustained effort.
And remember, the research behind today's episode was conducted at the end of 2021, so be sure to keep an eye on new data and best practices as this field rapidly evolves. That's a wrap for today's episode of the IADS Retail Park. I appreciate you, Anchita, for your insights and examples. They've really brought this topic to life.
Thank you, Maya. It's been a pleasure navigating these changes with you and sharing practical solutions with our audience.
Thanks for joining us on this journey through the IADS Retail Park. Until next time, stay ahead of the retail curve, keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep pushing for real sustainability. For more trends, research, and resources, make sure to connect with us on LinkedIn and Substack. This is Maya and Anchita signing off.